Hello, my name is Claire Lusby, and I will be sharing a presentation of some research that I conducted last fall. My presentation is entitled, Who Am I? A Hierarchy of Identity in the Middle East. The goal of this presentation is to establish and explain the relationship found in the internal hierarchy that dictates individuality, responsibility to family, and conformity to society in the Middle East. My research was driven by a desire to learn about social constructs, internal motivations, and to challenge negative stereotypes. There are many different internal hierarchies out there in the world, and we're just going to focus on one found in the Middle East. I believe this ideology is unique and worthy of research. How will we achieve this goal? To delve into the differences between the construct of individuality in the East versus Western society, to identify the extent of the control force of the family on an individual's life and how this can be positive and negative, and then lastly, to analyze and talk about why it's important for individuals to conform to and maintain the power structure of society. Why study this dynamic? To move past stereotypes in the modern world. Due to the media, there are an influx of negative, destructive, and ignorant stereotypes out there, and we need to move past them. And also we study this to understand the differences in how people form their sense of self, and then to foster an appreciation of how people construct their mental image of themselves in relation to their families and the society that they live in. So, my methods were a critical analysis of Middle Eastern films, academic articles, and a contemporary guide to Arabic society. And the guide was based on 30 years of experience, and the author was a specialist in the Arabic language and culture and society. So I would like to note that the films I used were originated from Lebanon, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Yemen. And while studying the articles, I became aware of the need to resist generalities, and by analyzing the characters in the films in relation to their surroundings, it helped me to move beyond stereotypes and understand human beings and their complexities better. For our first section, individuality. This section is focused on understanding the sense of self, see individualism in the East versus the West, and then to actually compare them. First, we have concept of self in the Middle East, honor through conformity to social rules. Individuals are expected to conform to rules and are motivated by avoiding shame. Here pictured, we have Wajda, a young, high-spirited girl who is creative and wants to own a bike to ride faster than her friends. However, she is presented with hurdles by society that she must overcome, all while obeying her mother and avoiding punishment at school. Another example of an individual working to retain their honor by conforming to social expectations is Nisreen from the film Caramel. She is engaged to marry, but has had premarital relations with another man. In her quest to avoid the shame that would come with the detection of her infidelity, she undergoes a painful surgery to honor social rules and her family's wishes. Next, we have individuality in the West. Society in the West can be described as an atomistic social organization, characterized by mobile populations and this generation's-old ideal of manifest destiny, go west, young man, settle yourself, rugged individualism. And it seems there's an innate drive for independence and self-sufficiency. And then, to move on to a comparison of the two spheres of influence. In the Middle East, we have the potential goals of getting married, having children, working to honor their family, and having this continual support system. And in the West, we have the goals of bettering oneself, earning money, getting rich as they can, living as well as they possibly can while they're here. But it's also important to note that both are shaped by traditions, individual goals, and societal standards. And there's negative in both standards. In the Middle East, there can be a sense of limited freedom and an increased dependency on family. And then in the West, and especially in the US, we have self-destructive tendencies as we push ourselves toward goals and isolationist nature. Now, for section 2. We will discuss the familial influence on individuals and the creation of their sense of self, the control force of the family, and the responsibility that this places on individuals. First, we have family as the base unit of life. The typical family unit in the Middle East has withstood change from urbanization, increased technology, and shifting governments. It has proven itself to be solid. Family background is a very important measure of personal status. Family names are significant and connections can be everything. The purpose that this family unit serves is to socialize children to values, social and religious expectations, and provide a stable emotional environment for children to grow up in. Next, we have family as a positive control force. In the Middle East, the support system of the family can make deciding on important life decisions less stressful. A parent's goal is to create productive members of society and have a security plan for when they grow older. An example of how a family can positively affect an individual can be seen in the film A New Day in Old Sana'a. We have Bilqis, a young bride set to marry, and her family works to ensure that she has an eligible and respectful suitor. Additionally, her mother does whatever she can to ensure the best for her daughter. She goes out of her way to create the perfect wedding and tries to make everything run smoothly even when it doesn't. This leads to the concept that women and mothers can serve as the glue that holds families together during times of trials. And next, we will discuss the negative impact that family can have on an individual's life. I feel it is important to note that family can be destructive and negative anywhere. However, once again we turn to the film A New Day in Old Sana'a for our example. We have Tadiq, the young man set to wed the beautiful Bilqis, and through miscommunication, a lot of stress, and some dramatic irony, he falls in love with another, Inez, a poorer girl. Additionally, his life goal is to be a photographer, but enter his sister. She represents his family's wishes in the film, and she is unsupportive of his hobbies and goals, and when she learns that he has ruined her plans for him to marry Bilqis, she threatens to kick him out of the family for attempting to cross social lines and marry Inez. By the end of the film, he is completely broken down and he complies with his family wishes. He had to discard his personal dreams and goals and to honor his family. Next, we have section 3, focusing on society's significance and talking about how there is an inherent need for compliance to uphold society and prevent its collapse. The need for an individual to remain within their social sphere is a seemingly outdated ideal. However, it is still relevant. There's a place for individuals in society, and crossing the bounds of their level can end in heartbreak and shame. A key example of this is once again found in the film A New Day in Old Sana'a. The young Inez, who falls in love with Tadiq, is from the working class. She works as a tattooist for weddings, while he hails from the ruling elite. Their love is forbidden socially and lawfully. By the end of the film, Inez is left alone, unloved, and scorned by her fellow working class men for her dreams. She is unable to be with the one she truly cares for, and left alone. Our second example is from the film The Jacobean Building, set in Egypt. Pictured here, we have Taha, a bright, hard-working young man. His dream is to join the military, but he is denied access due to his low social status. His father works as a janitor in the Jacobean Building. He turns to university, but he feels unappreciated. He doesn't fit in. So then he turns to religion for acceptance from his peers, and due to the dark workings of the secret police at the time, he is drawn into religious extremism. The confinement to his social class ultimately led to his death. This extreme example shows how breaking with society can be destructive for individuals. Next, we have, what is the purpose of the societal system? If it can be so destructive, then why do we have it? The social system, dependent on its members conforming to said society, exists to provide benefit by cooperation and creates an extensive support system that is dedicated to keep the group flourishing, alive, and doing well. A beautiful and heart-wrenching example of this is the actions of the women in the film Where Do We Go Now? It takes place in a village torn apart by the civil war of the country. The women and the wives of the town just want to live their lives in peace, keep their husbands and children safe and sound, and stop having to bury their dead. And they are willing to make extensive personal sacrifices to support one another through a variety of trials. The group's cooperation can provide security that an individual can enjoy. Now for the takeaway. My goal was to show the relationship between individuals, family, and society in the Middle East, and to show you how one's individual hierarchy can affect goals, decisions, and the creation of their sense of self. More importantly, in simple terms, people are different, and that is good. Understanding this and the source of their internal motivations is critical for cooperation, respect, and mutual growth, as these internal constructs shape how individuals live their lives. These are my sources that I drew upon for my research. I would like to thank you for your time and your attention. Additionally, to extend a thanks to Dr. Samara Zwahiri for her support in this research. Thank you all once again.